Hello, my name is Lizzie, and this is Lizzie's Literary Life, and today we are doing my October TBR, which is not a Jigsaw TBR, it is Spookopoly. So, I decided to participate in Spookopolathon this year. I've never done a bookopolathon before, but I thought it would be really fun, and I printed out my board and everything, so that is in place of Jigsaw TBR this month.
Hello, it's Editing Lizzie, and I, when I was filming this, neglected to explain, literally anything, so here we go. If you don't know what this is, Bookopoly is a TBR game. So, I do Jigsaw TBR, that's my TBR game. Bookopoly is the TBR game created by Becca and the Books based on Monopoly, and it's like a Monopoly board, but each property space, and all the spaces are prompts that get you the books you're going to read in the month. Becca, a couple years ago, started doing Bookopolathon, which is like a readathon based around the TBR game where everyone plays the game and reads those books in the month. It's usually September. This year, she's doing it in October, so it is spooky themed, so that's why it's called Spookopolathon. So we've got Monopoly, became Bookopoly, became Bookopolathon, became Spookopolathon, and basically the rules are that you roll 2 dice and move that many spaces, and you do that prompt. If you get a double, then you have to add an extra roll. So I'll say in a minute that I'm going to start with 6 rolls, but every time I roll a double, that number of rolls increases, and then that's the number of books you have to read in the month. And I think that's everything I have to say. There's chance and community shelf cards, community chest, community shelf, but I'm going to explain that in a minute.
The other thing happening in this TBR is that a couple of my friends and I decided to do a thing in October with our reading. We're calling it Chaos-October. And basically it started because Danielle from Danielle Reads said she was going to only read nonfiction for a year, which is insane. But then we all just kind of got on that train, and it's not a year, it's a month. But we all picked, or a group of my friends picked something crazy to exclusively read in October. So I am only going to be reading books set before the year 2000. I decided not to include anything that's unclear about what year it's set if it was published after 2000. Does that make sense? It's not super clear what exact year Pride and Prejudice is set, but it's going to be around the time it was published. Whereas the Poppy War, it's historical inspired, but it's not clear the year it was set, so that doesn't count. That was just the distinction that I made. So I am only picking, for this TBR, books that are set before the year 2000. And let's see how it went. I decided to do 6 rolls. And there's actually one more thing I need to tell you. I was about to say let's get into it, but we can't get into it yet because we have the chance cards and the community shelf cards. And for the chance cards, what I'm going to do is actually just pick a book that's eligible, that's set before 2000 from my physical TBR. And I have all of those already written out in this little mug. So I'm just pulling from that mug. For chance cards, for a community shelf, instead of random prompts, I decided to do time periods. So I think I started with 1950 to 1999, and then 1900 to 1949, and then it was anything in the 1800s, 17, 16, 15, and then I did a little bit larger ranges as we get further back. But I thought that would be fun to have a year year range that I have to have, since they all have to be set before 2000, have a specific year range, and that be the prompt. So that's what I did for community shelf. Let's just get into it. Okay, so I am using a puzzle piece as my game piece because I gotta stay on brand, and I've got this little tub to make sure the dice don't go out of frame. And let's just get into the rolls. Doubles right off the bat. Okay, roll number 1, we got 10. Oop. Feed scroll. Okay, I'm going to go to Goodreads. You'll see it in just a moment. So, our very first roll, we got doubles, and we got feed scroll. And I decided, and I did this earlier. I decided to go to Goodreads because I do have a bookish Instagram, but Goodreads seemed more reliable. So I went to Goodreads, and I was scrolling for a while until I found something that was set before 2000 and I could get access to it. But I ended up with The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kirsten White, which I've never heard of. I don't even remember who was doing something with it on my Goodreads because I did that a couple days ago actually. But yeah, this is a book set in the time of Frankenstein. And I just am really excited for a little Frankenstein spin-off. I think that's going to be super fun for spooky season especially. So I'm really excited about that one. Roll number 2. Okay. Now we're doing 8 rolls because I've rolled doubles in my first 2 rolls. We are going for 12. Chance card. I have these chance cards here for the aesthetic, but they're actually blank. For my chance cards, I'm using my handy dandy little TBR jar. So this is books on my physical TBR that fit the Chaos October theme, so are set before 2000. Oh, that's 2. We are going with Catherine. Roll number 2, we have more doubles. But we got a chance card. We got Catherine. I'll grab it. It's right here. It says Mora. I got the second hand. I don't know. Anyway, for $3. Actually, I think it was less than $3. Anyway, this is, I don't even know. Catherine by Anya Seton, Catherine Swinford, and there's a sticker. Vibrant 14th century England. I have another 14th century book on this TBR as well, but we'll get there. Yeah, we're getting medieval England. We love that. It's a classic love story of medieval England. I don't know anything else about it, but I own it, so I'm gonna read it. Roll number 3. Okay, not doubles for once. We've got 4. Toffee Apple. I believe this is a book that you can't put down. And then we got Toffee Apple, and I was deliberating on what to choose for this for a really long time because of course you don't know if something's going to be hard to put down before you read it necessarily. And I guess the obvious choice would be to go with a thriller, but historical thrillers can be slower paced too. So it was I don't know, it was hard to pick. So I decided to go with a reread, something that I flew through the first time. A Burnable Book by Bruce Holsinger, which I read in high school, I think. And I tore through that book. It's chunky. All the books on this TBR are chunky. It's pretty chunky, but and it's it was the first I remember being really impressed by it because it had a list of character names in the front, and it was kind of a big serious book for me at the time. So I'm interested to see what I think of it now, but I loved it at the time. It's a little mystery sort of thing with there's this book and Chaucer as a character, so it's that's the other 14th century England one. We're set in London. It just was really good vibes from what I remember, and I could not put it down. So hopefully that's the same this time. Roll number 4. Hannibal Lecter. This is a book with a body part in the title, might be challenging. And then we got Hannibal Lecter, book with a body part in the title. This was tricky, but my partner actually came up with this idea to read The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison, which honestly, I know nothing about, but I'll find out. I've read one Toni Morrison, and that was Beloved, and I kind of felt like I didn't really get it at the time, so I'm hoping that it was like my fault it wasn't the right time for me to read it, so hopefully this is a better experience for me, but I is a body part, so we're going with Toni Morrison. Roll number 5. More doubles. We are now doing 9 rolls, moving 4 spaces, and we have another chance card. So here is my little mug again. White Teeth by Zadie Smith. And then we got another chance card. Let me grab it. White Teeth by Zadie Smith. So this book goes all the way up to 1999. We're between, like, just looking at the table of contents. I don't know what this book is about really, but it's like multi-generational. Throughout the earliest year is 1857, and it goes up to 1999, but it was published in 2000. This is a well-loved book. I have had it on my TBR for a while, so I am looking forward to getting into it. I'll find out what it's about, and then I'll tell you in my wrap-up. Roll number 6. We got a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Community shelf. We're getting all the cards today. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so this one, we need a book that is set in the Common Era before, like, 999 or before. That might be challenging. We'll see. And then we got a community shelf card, and we got, I think, the hardest one. Like, I feel like that 1 to 999 CE is like the hardest community shelf card I wrote, even though it's a huge range. It's just like, what is even, I don't know. I had a really hard time. But I landed on The Lost Queen by Signe Pike. And this is a, like, Celtic Arthurian, I don't even know. I, chose this TBR and looked all these books up a couple days ago, and now I have already forgotten what they're about. But it seemed like fun, like, almost fantasy vibes, but, like, set in early medieval times in, I don't know if it's where exactly, but a Celtic situation. And I think Merlin, or like a version of Merlin, is one of the characters, and that's why I said Arthurian, but I think it's not, like, directly. I don't know. This is another case of, I'll read it, find out what it's about. You can learn in my wrap-up. Sorry, but it looks fun. Roll number 7. We got a 7. Purple, a cover that is mostly purple. And then we have purple, and for this one, I went for another book that I own, so let me grab it. The Other Boleyn Girl by Philippa Gregory. This purple dress, very purple, purple font. This I have been super intrigued by. I haven't read a Philippa Gregory, and I have a couple of hers on my physical TBR. I feel like as a historical fiction reader, it's like, why haven't I read Philippa Gregory? But I you know, and we'll get to it, more of it later in the TBR, but I love those tutors. And so I'm super excited, having read Alison Weir's Anne Boleyn and like getting a taste of this is about Mary Boleyn, taste of her story in that. I'm super excited to explore that more in this one. Roll number 8. Five. Stabby. We need a book that is stabby. The bloodier side of spooky season. True crime, thrillers, and grimdark. And then we got stabby. And for this, I decided to pick something that I had seen at the library, my physical library. I just seen it and kind of picked it up, and then I didn't get to it a couple months ago. And it's called All the Blood We Share by Carmilla Bruce. And it is based on, I'm telling you false information, probably, because I don't remember. But it's like set in like Kansas in like, I'm going to guess like, I should just look it up. So it's based on the Bloody Benders of Kansas, which occurred in the 1870s. They were a real like family of serial killers. And so this is a novel based on that story. It seems super fun. I think there's like witchy vibes going on as well. So very apt for October and fits my Chaos-October theme as well as the stabby prompt. Roll number 8. $11. We have Boo, What a Ghostly Scene. A book that features ghosts or a haunting/haunted house. And then we got the Ghostly Scene Taylor Swift Railroad Station. And for that, I think this is the one I maybe stretched the most, but I'm going with another book on my physical TBR. Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This, I know that there's not actual ghosts in this, but every synopsis is always like, and they're like obsessed with a dead woman. Like she's haunting them, not literally, but she's like dead but never forgotten, eerie presentiment of evil. Like it feels ghosty. It feels ghosty to me. It's gothic. I've really wanted to get to this. This is a classic about someone named Rebecca, presumably. I don't know. But yeah, this I have definitely really wanted to get to, and now I have a physical copy of it. Seems like the perfect time, and I think it's going to fit the ghostly prompt. Roll number 9, what should be our last roll. It is not our last roll. We have a 10. We have another Taylor Swift space. There is Nothing I Do Better Than Revenge, which is a book with a revenge plot. And now we have Nothing I Do Better Than Revenge, which I had an idea and I really wanted to go for it. And that was to read the Catherine Howard Six Tudor Queens book by Alison Weir. I've been working through the Six Tudor Queens series. They're like chunky, historical, fictionalized biographies of the 6 wives of Henry VIII. And I was like, Catherine Howard would fit perfectly. Like, what better, like, what more prominent revenge plot is there than, like, Henry getting her beheaded? The issue is that I have not yet read Anna of Cleve yet. So basically I'm putting 2 big, chunky, historical fiction, kind of slow-paced chunkers on my TBR, because I'm going to try to read both of them. Is that a good idea? But I'm excited, and the audiobooks are on Scribd, so that's going to help me out. I did eyeball read the first 3 in the series, but I think going audio is going to work for those. So yeah, I'm excited. I have loved the first 3 in the series. I think they've been excellently written and so interesting. So very exciting. And now, hopefully, our final roll, our 10th roll. A 6. Lowest rated. Okay, this is going to be an interesting one. And then we have lowest rated, for which I did the whole Goodreads sort by rating, and I scrolled until I found one that was eligible, and that was Frog Music by Emma Donoghue. This, I'm filming this on October 1st. I actually started this one today, so I can't tell you what it's about. Can I tell you what it's about? We're set in 1870s and in San Francisco. 1870s San Francisco. Our main characters are kind of like people on the fringes of society. Like we have our main character is a burlesque dancer and a sex worker, and we also, another primary character is a woman who is always getting arrested for dressing in men's clothing. So, interesting cast of characters. I'm not going to tell you how I feel about it because this is a TBR video. But it was lowest rated. It had like a 3.6 or something. It was not, I did have to scroll on my TBR for a little bit to find something set before 2000, so it wasn't like the absolute lowest rated, but lowest rated book that was eligible. So this is quite possibly, actually I know for sure, well, at least this year, the biggest TBR I've ever had this year. It's also more pages than I have read in a month all year. So the books on that TBR are 4,870 pages total, but that's not including Anna of Cleve, which I have to read before Catherine Howard. And then I also was planning a buddy read of, let me grab it. I'm reading a lot of books off my physical TBR this month. That's excellent. Where is it? It's right here. I was planning a buddy read of Tess of the D'Urbervilles. I don't know how you say that, with Ruby, because her K-October prompt is reading only classics. So we were talking about buddy reading this, but this is like also a chunky classic. And so all of that together, like, is more than 5,000 pages. And I have not all year. My best reading month in terms of pages was January, and that was only 4,900. So, it's ambitious. But I believe in myself. I believe in myself. I do. So I'll check in at the end of the month. You'll see it. You'll see if I do it. But I'm going to stick to this TBR. I'm not going to read anything else. Like, I'm not going to get distracted by other books, especially because I have this constraint of only being able to read historical. Like, I'm going to stick to the TBR. So hopefully I will get at least most of it done. These are just less than half of what I plan to read. And all of them have very small text. These books are long. I can do it. If you want to see if I do it, subscribe, like this video, comment down below whether you think I can do it. And I will be back at the end of the month to let you know. Okay. Have a good one. Bye.